afternoon, everybody. I am so excited about the fact that we have now moved into the second phase of our Cultivating Healthy Relationships series. We are excited because for the last 4 weeks, we have been consistently giving you information about cultivating healthy relationships, partner abuse, identifying the right mate, and there's quite a bit of information that we've provided. But interestingly, as we move into this season of National Abuse Awareness, which started yesterday, I really am so excited to know that we're part of a bigger picture, because educating you is what we want to do. We want to encourage people who are in these situations and provide the information that is necessary. And so for the next 4 weeks, for the 4 Sundays in December, we will be focused on the dynamics of abuse, the dynamics of domestic abuse. And today, we're going to be looking specifically on the cycle of power and control. Dr. Allen, thank you again for being a part of this. I so appreciate your support and all the information that you have provided. It has been so valuable. Good afternoon. How are you, sir?
Not bad at all. And it's so good to be here, because domestic abuse, the facts we're having, especially in this, I think it's 6 days, I think it is International Week, I think it is, against domestic violence. It is being shared that globally, among adults, at 1 in every 3 adults suffer from some form of domestic violence.
Wow.
1 in every 3. So, that's over 33%. So,
really bad.
It's a really big problem. And for the fact that none of us can look at people and tell,
That's the whole point.
And that many people, most people, I think it's about 66% of people don't say anything to anybody about what is happening to them. So they are suffering silently.
That's the problem.
You see? So it's not uncommon, but it is in the shadow area.
Yes.
Where people are not seeing it. So what we are doing is to try to bring it out of the shadows and to help people to understand the nature of it. So that if somebody now feels that I know a little more about it, and somebody talks to me, I'm not going to be, what? You must stop, you must leave. No, they can understand the dynamics more.
That's it.
And they'll be better able to converse with the person and help them to understand and to really deal with it in a more informed way. Definitely. So this is very important.
Definitely. Doc, when we looked at the 4 topics that we'll be doing for the month of December, the thing that struck me so hard was that they were all about cycles. All about cycles that need to be broken. And the first one that we're doing here is this power and control cycle. So, Doc, can you tell us a little more? What is this cycle? What is power and control cycle? Can you?
All right.
Yes.
We remember that there are different types of abuse. It's not just physical. There is emotional, several types. And all these types are really based on power and control. Including sexual coercion too. All these types are based on power and control. That
Yeah.
one person must have power and
Mm.
control over
Over
the
the
other
other.
person. That is what it is about. So um, many people, many persons who are victims have common experiences that are related to this power and control. Now, um, there's a power and control wheel, which we will show later on to summarize what we're talking about. And it was set up by um, a professional person, um, and that has been very useful to persons generally, you know. So, what is important about this power and control wheel is telling us that domestic abuse is not an accident,
Mm.
that it is always intentional, and
Yes.
the intent is power and abuse, and that violence is not just by itself. There are many things it's associated with, but it's all about power and control. So, for example, um, family violence is not just to do with anger, that somebody is getting angry. It's not just to do with violence, as we said. It's not just to do with drinking alcohol, you know, but that it is all about power and control.
Mm.
Yes. Now, the people who produced this wheel that we're going to deal with came out of Duluth, Minnesota, right? All right. Now, um, there are some common tactics now that are used to maintain this power and control. So you have to know about the tactics, what tactics are being used. Because if you don't know the tactics before you think about it, you find that you are being controlled by these tactics.
Yes.
So one thing is economic abuse. And
Mm.
it is to disenfranchise the abusee, you
Yes.
know. So what happens is that the person at the beginning might say, darling, don't worry, man. You know, I'm in control, I'm good at finance,
Mm-hmm.
and I will control the money and keep it in the bank and so on. And then when you're ready, you can just get the money and I give you, you can spend and what have you. So you don't have to worry about tracking how much we have and the budget and so. So she may think that, okay, that is fine, he's a responsible man and he's responsible financially. But what she doesn't realize now is that once he has that money and once she's giving him the money, that he is controlling every cent that she gets. And if she is to go to buy a pound of flour, she has to go to him.
Yes.
And sometimes he wants to get the receipt,
Mm.
you know. So she can't go and buy a dress for herself or anything like that. He has total control.
But Doc, what's the point of that? I mean, I'm trying to understand. So I mean, is it just that they're getting some kind of kick out of doing that? I mean, what
But
what do they accomplish with that?
yeah, but you see, if you can disenfranchise somebody from having money,
Yes.
because when you have money, it gives you a sense of control over
Oh,
your life.
true,
You want to go buy a nice pair of shoes. You
true.
want to go to the dressmaker. You want to go eat some ice cream or some,
Yes,
to have
indeed,
some freedom in your life.
indeed,
But if
indeed.
you don't if you have to be going to him every minute to get money, you have no freedom.
Wow.
You are disenfranchised. And
Wow.
another area of economic freedom that is in the power and control wheel is the the abuser not allowing the person who is victimized to work. So man,
Mm.
I am working enough for both of us. Yeah, I'm working enough. You don't have to go work. Nobody work, man. Just stay home, and keep the place clean and look after the children and
Mm-hmm.
cook the food
Mm-hmm.
nice and so on. And I will look after your finances. But you see, that way he's preventing her from fulfilling her career goals.
Wow. Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
because
Wow.
she may have had career goals of being an engineer or a lawyer or a secretary or whatever it is. Now her career goals are smashed.
I mean, as you're saying that, because one of my passions is to see people become all that God wants them to become.
Exactly.
And when you speak like that, you're really making me recognize that this is not just the person who is doing this. This is the work of the enemy to capture people and to prevent them and to block them from becoming all that God had intended. Because if
Yes.
you can control somebody to the point where they cannot work or they cannot function, they don't have the resources, they don't have the money, I mean, that's one human being that the enemy has now caught and who will
Yes.
never be able to be free until they have left that cycle.
Yes. Because everybody has been given a gift by God to use. And your gift and my gift are completely different.
Definitely.
And if I try to spend time imitating somebody else's gifts, I'm wasting my time. I have to spend that
Indeed.
time building up my gifts, which that person doesn't have.
That's
You
it.
know. So
That's it.
if somebody's gift is stifled, if somebody's potential to grow and develop is stifled, if somebody's fulfillment in life is stifled, just imagine that person becomes disenfranchised in terms of their fulfillment and their career, you
Incredible.
know. And then the
Incredible.
other thing is that um, some people may get a chance to work, but then what happens? The abuser may take away the person's earnings and say, "No, I'll take the money and I will control it."
Wow.
You see,
Wow.
so the person ends up with nothing. And
And
if they ever feel now that they say, "Boy, I want to go out on my own or anything," they can't pay rent. You know, they may not have the car to drive.
mm,
They may not be able to feed themselves. You
mm,
know, unless they have family and friends who can take them in.
mm.
So it's a way to cut the person off, you
Oh
see?
boy. And so my next obvious question to you, Doc, is if somebody finds themselves in this kind of scenario, what do they do? What do they do? I mean, they're literally in prison, they're in jail, they're
Well,
incarcerated.
let's look at some more before we come back to that question. Because the power and control goes into another thing. It's where there are coercion and
Mm,
threats, not just the financial thing, um, and not just, but that is the first one, but then there is coercion and threats. So, the person will give you a certain look, and
mm,
from that look now. So what you're saying, you have to shut up because you're saying something that him not want you to say.
mm,
Or you're about to go and do something and plan to do something. You get that look, and he is
mm.
coercing and it's a threatening look, that if you go now and do this thing, so force can be used now. Force, physical or other types of force, to prevent that person to do what they want to do. at any given time. So it's like you're living in a cage where you're being watched,
Mm.
you know. And if the person decides, well, I am going to go out and do what I want to do, they can even get threats for suicide and I'm going to kill myself. That's another way of trying to coerce the person.
Oh my
So
goodness.
those threats and coercion can, make the person bow
Play
into
on their mind.
submission.
Yes.
Yes, into submission and lose some of the sense of freedom. Another one is intimidation now.
Mm.
To intimidate, not only just right answer, but to say, well, that the person might um, damage your property, damage whatever things you have,
Yes.
or threaten to damage what you have, threaten to take away your car, or even damage your
Mash up the
cats or your
phone, mash
dogs.
up the.
Yes, the person may even put put a gun on the table as a means of threats, or intimidation, So these looks and these damaging of property and pets and, you know, displaying weapons to intimidate, not just submission and disenfranchisement, from belongings and so, but fear. And then there's the emotional abuse now.
Mm.
And that is to nullify and remove the validity of the person's sense of self.
Yes.
Because, we all know who we are. We all figure that what we think is fine, what we do is fine, and so on. But what these people can do is that you may have an opinion and a belief,
Mm-hmm.
and you are made to feel as if you are crazy and as if you are irrational in expressing what you believe and what you have experienced and feel.
Yes.
And there's a thing called gaslighting that
Ah.
that you may say, look, I remember yesterday when you passed and you bounced when I fell down the stairs. Me? No, sir, you're talking foolishness. Nothing like that happened. I saw when you're going down the stairs and you slip and you fell. Why are you coming to blame me? That's called gaslighting.
Boy, Doc, I never knew that there was a word for that thing. Until
Mm,
I was writing my book. I never knew there was a word in the dictionary. And I never,
mm.
I lived through gaslighting. Gaslighting. I had to be second guessing. Did I really say that? Did I really not do that? It was
Exactly.
a constant flow, sometimes in the counseling room. And that is why I'm very concerned about the counselors and whether they understand that there's this thing called gaslighting, because
Mm,
in that
mm.
counselor room, you're literally, is the other person's word against your word. And after a while, you're starting to wonder whether, because can somebody lie so?
Yes,
That is,
yes.
it's
So
not
you, the
gaslighting for
counselor,
me,
begin
it's
even to wonder if you are
lie.
getting crazy. you know, what is happening with these two different, But then this is where, if you
Stories.
now know as a counselor the different aspects, and you can pick up the other aspects of power and abuse and all these things, you can begin to figure out what's going on,
Yeah,
and you may even choose to see the people separately,
that's it.
so you can get a coherent story from the abusee,
The
Then there is
victim.
again, to make you feel stupid and so on, um and to invalidate yourself. You can call you're idiot, you're all idiot, you don't have no sense, name calling and constant criticism. Everything you do is criticized. So
Mm.
then you begin to feel as if you're stupid. I can't do anything right, you know. And even before other people, you can get humiliated.
Yep.
You're having a discussion with friends. Shut your mouth, what are you talking about? What kind of nonsense you talking about? And to his friends, I don't know what happened to my wife, you know. She doesn't seem to have all her marbles in her head. Something is wrong with her. Yes, you know.
Disrespect.
Yes,
That was a word I kept using. I couldn't understand the levels of disrespect. I mean, when you
yes,
talk about disrespect, I mean, it's like they don't care. They don't care how you feel. They don't care, anything. Just a level of disrespect that is just beyond anything I've ever seen.
yes. So
Yeah,
it happens that the person now begins to disrespect themselves.
that's it.
They begin to invalidate themselves and say, "Well, boy, you know, I can't trust myself. Probably I'm not a very smart person
But Doc,
after
I
all."
don't want to interrupt you, but you see, when the Bible says love your neighbor as you love yourself, this is a commandment. And what happens, as you say, when after the person is chipping away at your own ability to love yourself, it is like you have now violated a major command of God, right?
Mm,
Because if you are going to remain in a setting like that where you are constantly degraded and disrespected and shown hate, you after a while it means that you obviously you don't recognize that there's a God inside of you that is being disrespected.
yes, yes. So another aspect of it is, and just a few more before we finish, but um isolation, you know, in other words, when it comes to your friends,
Yes,
um you're told, well, you know,
I
but
don't
why
like
you
your
call
friend.
so and so?
I don't
Why
like
you
that
speaking
one.
so long on the phone? Who you are talk to? But you
I
know,
don't that one there and that I don't like any of your friends. None of them.
yes,
Absolutely none of them.
yes. I mean, they're doing something to you which you're
You
becoming
have
a different
changed.
person.
Since you're speaking to that person, you have changed.
Yes, yes, exactly. You know, and then after a while, they might even take the phone,
Oh yes.
or you can't leave the home without permission. You know, even to
Mm,
go and visit your family. You know, um, so the person eventually gets cut off now, not just cut off financially, but cut off in their freedom,
mhm.
and that now because it makes it more difficult for them to leave if they
Yeah.
want to leave.
They don't
You
have any
see?
friends. They don't have anywhere to go to.
Yes, yes. Now the other thing is the matter of when somebody is treated abused in all these different ways, and the person is crying and say, I can't take this anymore, and so what they do, there's the minimizing now and denying and blaming. What you talk about? You know, you think anything real bad happened to you? You don't see anything yet, you know, and you're making too much of this, you know. And after all, I think much of it is your fault. So is it blaming the victim now? You minimize. It's not that bad, and it's really your fault. Because if you were doing your housework, if you're treating me properly, and doing what I wanted properly, then you know these things would happen to you. So the person might even play a little game, you know, a little trick. He may say to tell the truth, you know, I might be a little responsible, but you are the main person who's responsible.
But Doc, I mean, I'm sorry to have to cut you again. But
No.
but but the issue that I have is when the church and responsible counselors play into that argument.
Mm,
Because when they
mm,
start to tell people that, oh, the wife needs to be she needs to be more understanding, or the husband, or whoever it is who is the victim, there's just this sense that you need to love more, and you need to
yes.
show more love, and you need to show more respect, and the Bible says, And you're thinking, but do you understand what I'm dealing with here? This is not the normal anything that maybe you have never seen this in your life, right? But the point is that it exists.
Well, aye.
Go ahead, Doc, because I'm probably getting too emotional here.
You have hit it. You have hit it, because what is happening is that the person who is hearing this, they cannot believe that such things exist, right?
Yes.
And they say, well, something must be wrong with you. You know, you are trying to make a monster of this man who is a prominent lawyer, who is a prominent
Uh-huh.
pastor.
Uh-huh.
He's a prominent
Everybody
justice
loves
of the
him.
peace. Or
Everybody, he shows
yes, he's
the
well loved in the
perfect.
community.
Everybody loves him, right?
Yes.
And I mean, and you know what the question that is they always ask, what did you do to cause him to do that?
Yes, exactly.
What did
Exactly.
you do to cause him to be so angry? He's
Yes,
not
yes.
normally like that.
Yes, exactly. So the other thing now, which is very interesting, is the thing of male privilege. And that is part of now of the culture, And that's so it is where it is felt now that okay, the man is always master of the castle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The man is master of the castle. And you know, so the woman, her role is this, her role is that, her role is that. He's master of the castle. So he's using male privilege now. Because in the society, men get more paid more than women.
That's it.
Men get promoted more than
More.
women.
Yes.
Men are taken more seriously than women. So the man knows he has an advantage. And he uses that privilege against the woman. So he's saying to her, well, your job now is to make sure the food and all the domestic matters and all of that, the children, rearing the children, you're to do all those things.
But Doc,
She might have grown up in a society where other people believe that. And then she falls into that now. And but all right, you're trying to some, but when you are confined
yes,
to those roles because of male privilege,
mm-hmm.
and when you are controlled because of this concept of male privilege, that is where abuse comes in.
That's it.
So I think we have covered the wheel, and we
But
see
Doc, yeah, go ahead.
we see all these subtle things. And I don't know if we can get the wheel up to just have a
Yeah,
little.
I can bring the wheel up. As I
Yes.
bring the wheel up, though, I want to just mention that, something that I've seen happen to my friends when they go to male counselors, especially when they go to male counselors. What I've found is that they all come away, they go in there with their spouses and they come away saying, they felt as if the counselor took sides, and it's always the man's side. Anyway, this is the wheels.
Yeah, well, that is an important issue.
Yes.
Because, it is, that's why one has to go to a very professional person in this matter. Because if the person is not professional, they themselves are, and if they are not mature, they themselves may share some of these kind of male privilege attitudes.
Exactly, Doc.
Yes, yes.
That's precisely the problem.
Yes.
They're hearing this woman speak just like what their wife is saying to them at home, right? Yes. And it don't feel right. So
yes. So you have to see a professional who has been trained and who has seen several such cases.
That's it.
Yes,
That's it.
several such cases. So he knows it exists. He has seen it. He has
Yes.
seen the dynamics, and he
Yes.
knows about this. Not somebody who is just has a little training and so on, because this is not good enough. So if you look at the wheel there now, um, then you will see
You want
what
me
it
to
looks
just let me
like.
just quickly read it through if you want me to do
Yes,
that. So
you can start from the left hand side, from the
on the left
Yeah.
it says using coercion and threats,
No, no, the financial, the
using economic
economic
abuse.
abuse. Yes, that's where we
That's the
started, and you go
first
around
one.
now.
Then using male privilege.
Yes,
Then using children.
yes,
Then minimizing, denying, and blaming. Using isolation. Using emotional abuse. And then using intimidation. And then finally using coercion and threats.
yes. And then if you come back up, you will see using male privilege.
Male privilege.
Yes, yes. You see all these things.
Yes.
I had forgotten about
The
using the children,
children, man.
because
The
what
children.
yes, because what happens, especially if you're going to anything comes up about separation, um they can say, well, they can try to even get somebody to establish that the wife, that her mental health is inadequate.
Oh,
I have
yes.
seen it.
Oh, yes.
I have seen it that
Yes.
they have gone to a psychiatrist or a counselor
Yes.
and given a certain view,
Yes.
a certain picture,
Yes.
right? And then if the psychiatrist isn't careful, when the thing comes to court now, he might go and write something,
And they lose, the mother lose the child or the
Yes,
children.
yes. So the I have to say sometimes to women, be very careful what you say and
Yes.
what you do. And if you begin to get angry and shout and begin to hit and what have you, you
Yes.
know, that cannot be used against you. You
Wow.
know. Yes, so that again, or threatening to hit the children or abuse the children, you know.
Wow.
So that is another aspect. And the other thing is that in this power and control cycle, that whereas the woman, her concern is about the pain she's feeling in all of this.
Yes.
Her concern is the pain, you know, but the man's main concern is have her under control. And
Wow.
his concern that he don't want to lose her. He
Mm.
doesn't want to lose her. And he
Mm-hmm.
will do anything not his greatest fear is to lose her.
Yes.
Her
Yes.
greatest fear is the suffering and the pain. You
Yes.
understand what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
His greatest fear is to lose her.
Wow.
You know. That's why it's some but sometimes what happens if the woman does get away, or she may be afraid of getting away because of that fear and what can happen.
That's it.
But her greatest concern is pain. Now, you're asking some questions earlier, so probably we can go back to that now,
Oh,
having looked at these
Doc.
techniques
This
and
this feels like it needs a part two, because we've covered quite a bit here. And I'm thinking that we probably will look at that in another session, maybe in January. But
yes,
I'm
yes,
really
yes,
happy for this information. I mean, this is really powerful, and I probably, well, this will be up so people will be able to see it in the video. And I really appreciate all that you have said. I mean, I probably it touched on maybe some wounds I continue to have, and maybe I need some more psychiatric help. But
yes, yes,
this was very valuable information. And again, for persons who are in this kind of cycle, I mean, we continue to pray that God will give you the strength and the wisdom and the understanding and the right people around you who can help you to break free of this particular cycle. So thank
Yes.
you again, everybody. And could you please, I'm asking you to share this information with as many persons as you know who it could help, and like it to encourage us, and subscribe. Okay, so thank you so much and have
And
yes, go
and
ahead.
two things very quickly.
Yes, sir.
One is that if you have just started a friendship or dating or thinking of getting married or anything, and you begin to notice any of these, it's a red flag. Even if the person apologizes and whatever, and says sorry. If you begin to notice any of these, don't say he's going to change and so. There are signs.
Yes.
So you have to know what to do, you know. And the second thing is that, as you had hinted, each of us has to love ourselves
Mm.
first. Love, well, God first,
Yes.
second, but
Yes.
we must love ourselves
Yes.
before we love other people. I'm not
Yes.
saying we must love ourselves and hate other people,
Mm-mm.
but love ourselves first. So if
Amen.
somebody is not allowing us to put ourselves first and take care of ourselves, again, we know there is danger. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that brought as well. And very, very important. So thank you so much, Doc. And have a great rest of the evening, everybody. For those in the UK, have a great night. Okay. Thank you. Bye.